Now we're going to go right. And I use my square for various reasons. Gives you a center focal point. Shows you where the horse is falling in. Also shows you when the horse isn't making a concentric circle. Gives you a center spot. Allows you to understand geometry because geometry matters in all aspects of life. Good. So again, back to 3 concentric circles. Hind leg tracking up into front footprint. If it goes too far past, that means the horse is rushing on the forehand. And right there is an indication that he is, because if the horse stops and pivots like that, that means he's leaning on the forehand. So I'm going to switch hands because my left hand has issues. And if we don't solve this, what I'll do is keep adjusting and playing with the balance until the horse finds the right answer, which is this. So I use my square so the horse doesn't lean. As you can see, when he goes to back up, he wants to wing his haunches out, which is why I'm using the poles on the ground. Then he overlooks in because he wants to avoid using his middle, like every horse on planet Earth. And then we're going to halt again. Good. Come on, back up. Good boy. Now, what I don't want is to be a repeated pattern, is the front legs being close together like that. So eventually, as he gets better and opens up his chest and doesn't fall on the forehand and figures out how to use his middle, he'll open up his front legs a little bit more so we can create a little bit broader shoulder cavity. That's very typical of this breed, is they tend to be very upright in the neck. Therefore, the front legs come too close together. And then what that does is it makes the horse's base or just narrow in the chest, which encourages them to fall on their shoulders from side to side and to drop their back because they put their head up in the air. So you're trying to help him find a better default in his halt. We don't want him halting with his feet together. Because if he does, that again means he's not supporting his front end. He's hollow in his back. Of all situations with horses, hey, and then he wants to overlook in, and that's to avoid him opening up the front end and finding his alignment. So we want him to find his alignment. So you shift back and forth till a couple things happen. Ideally, you want the horse square, and you want the horse to stay lined up from tail to ear, and you want him to find his middle, which unfortunately sometimes it takes a fair amount of time. But for me, I prefer riding a horse that has a base balance and that is not hollow in their back, because if a horse is hollow in their back, it makes for a less positive or productive ride under saddle. There we go. We're getting there. Come on. And you can see how very difficult it is for this horse. And he wants to lean on me, which is why I keep the line loose, because if I bring his nose in, it's just going to make him, there we go, lean more out in his shoulders. Nope. Back up. Good. Up. Shift back. Come on. And again, the horse is trained, so he understands my body language for the most part. Good. And I'll let him stretch. But then I'm not going to let him look past me because, again, that's him not opening up the front end. Now, some horses, you don't have to pay attention to the details this much. This horse, because he's so big, if you don't, then you just have a runaway freight train. And in order to find lightness and softness and a sense of elegance and balance, the horse needs to figure out how to use his middle. He has to open up the front end so he can open up his chest and find a better balance. And sometimes it's like waiting for paint to dry. He wants to just hang on me. Come on, open up. No. Shh. See, and then this is where the horse wants me to pull on his nose, which I'm not. It's important that his eye pays attention and his body moves in accordance to where the whip is guiding him to go, where he wants to lean on me. Good boy. Come on, no, no, no. Good. Super. Shift back. Good. And then up. Better. That's better. Good boy. No. No. Stop. Line it up. We've done this before. Numerous times. Ellie, come! Ellie, come! Oh, good girl. So this just goes to show you, when I lunge him, he wants to hang on my hand. Good, good boy. Good girl. Watch out. So now, this way I'm going to use my pole to catch him instead of him leaning on me. So release and come around. A little wild band of mares out there. And then release and come around. Good. Excellent. Good. Now, he wants to hang on me there. So obviously, that means he's not using his inside hind leg to come around. And he's getting lazy. So I'm going to let the circle get a little bigger. And I'm still focus on the inside hind leg and then give. Bring it around. Rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, give. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See, on the turn, he starts to lose his rhythm because he's not extending the neck out, because partly the inside hind leg, and because he doesn't want to open up his chest. So we have a few things going on. Good. Good. Yes. Excellent. So now the right hind leg and the right front leg are starting to land in the same track. And he's carrying himself better around the entire circle. Nice. Good. He has a tendency to tip a little in his pole, which has to do with the right hind and the right shoulder. So every once in a while, I'll ask it to lift up and come around the circle. So as he's pushing off and landing in his right front footprint, I start to elevate the rib cage and the inside shoulder so he can lift it up and bring it around the turn and find his own groove where he opens up the chest. There, nice. And starts to have a little bit of suspension. Good, and lift. And true animation, not false animation. A balanced animation where everything is recycling back into itself in a symmetrical way. And then I don't want to do too much, because a lot of times we make subtle changes and the horse reaches a point where they can't really do a whole lot beyond that. So you have to be careful and be patient, ask for much, be content with little, and reward often. Good job, Tango. Lift a little. Good. Lift a little. I ask to lift. He starts to hang a little bit on me. There. There's nice. Nice. Come on. Nice. Excellent. Beautiful. Super. Good job. Very nice. So now we'll halt. Back it up. We'll do one more because I didn't plan that out too much. Boy. No. Better. Good job. Now, it's not perfect, but that's much more open than we started.